Hello friends, this is Master Stroke Education Science classes. Today we decided to make a suggestion video for the upcoming Cbse class 10 science examination. We know that we have 80 marks theoretical unit belongs to science subject that included biology, physics and chemistry. We decided to provide you an important suggestion regarding biology, physics and chemistry in separated video. So let's start. First, we see that the biology is our first topic of the suggestion. For the biology is a very scoring subject. First of all, I have to tell you that you must provide picture, diagram and marking in examination answer sheet. Okay, whatever there is a need or not, if you provided the diagram, you will definitely gain some extra marks, because in biology teachers it has been very attracting. Okay, so just do not need to make a complex diagram. You have to just draw a very simple diagram. You just need to draw a very simple diagram and just mark it, and this is very important for the gaining number from the biology. Okay, now we know that biology is a very scoring subject and it is very easy to write, it is very easy to remember if it is been conceptually targeted. So the first topic is the life processes. The first topic is the nutrition in plants. It is a very important for the upcoming examination. So what we need to study? First of all, we must need to know what is cell, tissue, organ and system. You can make a concept from our previous videos. Now in the nutrition in plant, we must understand the structure of chloroplast. Chloroplast must be present in the mesophyll cells that are present in the mesophyll tissue. Chloroplast is an intracellular organelles. We must need to remember the diagram of the chloroplast. We must need to understand the pigment, that is the chlorophyll present in the chloroplast. We must understand, and we have to remember the photosynthesis included light reaction and dark reaction belongs to chloroplast. Okay, so chloroplast is a very important topic for our upcoming examination. Now next one is the concept of decomposer. That what is the decomposer, how they decompose the organic substance. Okay, they are heterotroph. You must remember that decomposer are heterotrophs, right? And the type of decomposer, and you need to know some name decomposer, some name of the decomposer you must need to know. Okay, next topic, which organism is capable for self nourishment. This is very important. You must need to know the names. Next, metabolic activities that increases and decreases the weight of plant. That is the beautiful thing, that plant photosynthesis provided the metabolic product to the plant. Some secondary metabolites are also produced, such as terpene, phenolic compound, nitrogenous compound. Their role, very briefly, just one sentence or two sentences, you must need to know the secondary and primary metabolites from the plant and their role in increase and decrease the weight of the plant. Okay, next, in photosynthesis, how ATP and NADPH is formed and how the light energy is captured from the sunlight. So this is all about the light reaction that are present in the chloroplast, or we call the thylakoid reaction. We must need to know that how the ATP and NADPH is formed by the electron transport chain in the chloroplast, and how the light harvesting complex is responsible to produce ATP and NADH. This is one of the most important thing. Next, function of ADP and ATP in photosynthesis. How ADP is required in the light reaction to produce ATP, and how ATP in the Kelvin-Benson cycle or C3 cycle is used in the photosynthesis or in the dark reaction, also called stromal reaction. This is one of the most important thing. Okay, but the most important thing you must need to know, the light reaction of the photosynthesis, also called the thylakoid reaction, where ATP and NADPH is formed, where in the dark reaction that ATP is utilized in the photosynthesis to produce the primary metabolites. Next one, how food is transported in plant. We know that for the transportation there are two systems in the plant, such as xylem and phloem, but the food transport of the plant are only food. How food is produced? Food is produced by the dark reaction of the photosynthesis, where ATP is utilized, and after the production of the food, that food is only transported by the phloem, not by the xylem. Okay, it is only transported by the phloem, and the mechanism of transport of the food transport through the phloem is very important. You must need to know. Also called sometime, this is called phloem transport. Okay. Next major topic, transportation in plants. You need to explain absorption of minerals by root hair and also absorption of water separately. As I told you earlier, that food material is transported by the phloem, and the plant has a true separated system, that is the phloem and xylem. Always remember, food material, the metabolic product, are transported by the phloem, whereas the minerals and water are transported restrictly through the xylem. Okay. Okay, some amount in the plant there is interrelation between the phloem and xylem during the water transport, but for the overall aspect you must understand that water is always transported by the xylem, water and minerals, and metabolites are always transported through the phloem. How do the gut cell regulate opening and closing of stomata pores? This is one of the most important role of the potassium, role of the calcium. This is most important. Next, you need to briefly understand the transportation in the plant, such as metabolite transportation, water transportation, mineral transportation. Okay, you must need to understand. Next. What happened to the plant cell when kept in the hypotonic solution and hypertonic solution? Now for this you must need to clear the two important concepts. One is the diffusion, another is the osmosis. These are the basic concept to answer such question. You must need to know diffusion and osmosis. You can see in our videos. Okay. Now isotonic solution, hypotonic solution and hypertonic solution, what is the mean of that such kind of solution you must know. And when we put some cell onto it, what the result will be happen, you must need to know. Whatever the plant cell or human RBC cell or any other cell. Okay, so this is very important topic. Now, why on a sunny day young shoot of the herbs showing wilting? This wilting is a very important topic. You must need to make a brief concept on it to answer such question. Okay. Next, in which form food is transported in plant? This is very important. Either it is the cellulose form. They can provide you the complex question to confuse you, such as they will ask you cellulose form, glycogen form. Food is never transported in such form. In a monosaccharide form, food will be transported to the plant. You must need to know such things. Okay. How water and mineral are transported in the plants, as I discussed previously. Okay. Now, function of xylem and the function of phloem, I told you already. Now you must need to know the difference. It has been very easy. The transport of the xylem is water and minerals, and phloem transported only metabolites. Okay. Next, nutrition in animal. Digestion of stomach. This is very important thing. You must need to learn and practice must be necessary to draw the perfect diagram or simple, not complex but simple diagram of the stomach, and how the digestion, role of the HCl and other enzyme in the stomach, and how they are digested the food material in the stomach. Iodinized salt in diet and they are important in body growth. What is the related of the iodine salt deficiency in the hypothyroidism? This is very important. Okay, so in this regard you must also need to understand the role of thyroid hormone and the iodine salt. Okay, difference between pepsin and trypsin enzymes. What is the enzyme, what are the pepsin and trypsin enzyme, how they work, and where they are different from each other in the substrate level, you must need to understand. Amoeba nutrition is another hot topic for this examination. It is a very important topic to understand. They must able to provide you the amoeba nutrition. Concept of enzyme, as I told you, concept of enzyme is very important. You must need enzyme, how enzyme work. Enzyme is always a biocatalyst. You must need to understand enzyme never start or end a reaction, only the accelerate the rate of the reaction. This concept is very important. Role of pepsin in our stomach is another important topic. You must need separately the enzyme and their function in different part of the digestive system. Now, what are the function of the appendix? Where the appendix is located? What is the function of it? It is in modern days are functional or non-functional. If functional, what kind of function it performs? You must need to understand. Okay. What is the difference between chyme and chyle? It is another important thing. We are just focusing, we are not discussing for the time schedule. We are actually providing you the important topic. Pancreas and its role in nutrition. Pancreas is a mixed gland. It has an endocrine function as well as exocrine function. That means pancreas is responsible for release of some hormones such as insulin, glucagon as endocrine function, or some enzymes such as pepsin, trypsin as an exocrine function. You must need to understand. Okay. Transportation in human. Heart, the key feature of the exam. They will definitely give you the question from the heart. You must need to learn the simple diagram where the properly to atrium and to ventricle must be there, and in the cardiac anatomy you must show the bicapsid and tricapsid valve. Okay, and also you have to define the cardiac cycle. Now you know this is important thing. 0.8 second is required for one cardiac cycle. 0.8 second. Okay. Schematic representation of the transport and exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide. Now they may ask you the question, which process, which physical process is behind this oxygen and carbon dioxide exchange in the lung? That is the diffusion, right? Diffusion. And that you have to understand how the total process and the transportation such as carboxyhemoglobin, oxyhemoglobin and their role you must need to understand. Now red blood cell, corpuscle only capture oxygen molecule and not other molecule. Why? Because the central atom is the ferrous ion and that are responsible to only capture with the oxygen because of the electronegativity. And the other purposes are also there. This is a very important question. They can provide you. Why it is necessary to separate deoxygenated blood from oxygenated blood? It is very important. Why in our we have artery and vein? Why we do not have a transportation system that carry the mixed blood? Why we have differently artery carrying oxygenated blood and vein carrying deoxygenated blood? Why there is a need for a separate transportation system or separate blood vessel is an important. Importance of double circulation of the human. This is also important topic. Necessity of the double circulation in a human is also important. Now, as I told you, diagram of heart, simple, you have to provide a simple diagram. Okay. Now, circulatory system in human. How much blood? 4 to 5 liter of the blood, or 4.5 to 5.5 liter of the blood is present in human body. You must need to know that. Blood group, that is the ABO blood group system, that is also important. And the RH factor, okay, how positive and negative blood group is that. It is also related with the genetical study. They can provide you the question that mother the blood group B plus, father is the blood group A plus, why the child have blood group O. They will ask you the genetical question from this aspect. So you must need to understand the ABO blood group. And actually what happens, sometimes they do not directly ask you the simple question. They sometimes what happen, two topic mixed and provide you a question, such as they collect the ABO blood group from this circulatory system and they collect the genetic from the genetical system. They mix these two topic and provide you a question, okay, to make a complex question. So you must understand and also correlate the topic. Okay. Next, what is the significance of the bundle of His in the pacemaking of the heart? Okay, you need to understand. And they will also ask you the question, what are the normal pacemaker? You have to tell them that SA node or the P cell of the SA node is the normal pacemaker of the heart. Outer layer of the heart, important. What is the larger artery in the human body? Erythrocyte clotting, help in clotting blood or not? If help, how? If not, why? You need to understand. Okay. Introduction of respiration. Type of respiration: aerobic respiration, anaerobic respiration, external respiration, internal respiration. How poikilothermic or homeothermic is related with the respiration. What is the respiratory rate? What are the respiratory organ? How respiration is taking place? How the gaseous exchange take place? You need to know all these things briefly. Okay. How plant exchange gases? How oxygen are throwing out from the stomata and plant absorb the carbon dioxide through the stomata. You must need to know how the plant provide the exchange of gases. Respiration is very important, and why it is important. Okay. Leaves of a healthy plotted plant were coated with Vaseline to block stomata. Will this help remain healthy for long? No, absolutely not. It will be block the gaseous exchange. Breathing and respiration difference is very important. You must need to know the higher number of difference. Okay. Which part of the plant is perform respiration? You need to know. That plant is regarding to leaf. Respiration in humans. How hot water cure muscle cramp? To answer this question, you must also know how muscle cramp develop. What is the role of lactic acid in the muscle to developing the muscle cramp? Respiratory system short note, important, but you have to provide that simple diagram on it. What is the composition and function of liquid present in pleural activity of human body? Why is there less pressure than lung? Diagram of human respiratory system, very important. Why is inspiration called as an active process and expiration is a passive? This is the most important thing, and regarding this I have to also tell you that you need to know the intercostal muscle, thoracic cage, and the your larynx muscle function is very important. The lung alveoli are covered with blood capillaries. Why it is necessary to cover the lung alveoli with the blood capillaries? How the gaseous exchange are taking place in the alveoli and blood capillaries? through that process of diffusion you need to know. The wall of trachea is supported by cartilage ring. Why it is necessary to support the trachea through the cartilage ring you need to know. Okay. Nasal cavity, diaphragm, alveoli. These are the important topic for the short notes. Excretion. Kidney structure and function diagram marking, very important. How many number of nephrons are present in kidney, what are the function of the nephron, what are the Bowman capsule, Henry's loop, Malpighian corpuscle. Animal and plant excretion, very briefly understand, is very necessary. What are the waste product of the animal and plant? Process of excretion is very important. Second chapter belongs to control and coordination, that actually neuroendocrine system. One part we have a neural system, another part we have an endocrine system. You need to know the central nervous system, the type of nervous system such as peripheral nervous system, central nervous system, somatic nervous system, or voluntary nervous system, or involuntary or autonomic nervous system. Now from the central nervous system you need to know the spinal cord, brain, cranium, and also the vertebral column, the number of vertebral column segments and the number of spinal cord segment different, that is the 33 and 31 respectively. Why there is a need of the vertebral column for the spinal cord protection, why there is a need for the cranium for the brain protection, how many type of subparts are present in the brain, how many type of differentiated factor are present in the spinal cord, what are the lateral neuron, anterior and peripheral neurons, you need to know that. Pituitary gland, why called as a master gland, important. Cerebrum and hypothalamus are both are part of the forebrain. What are the forebrain, midbrain, hindbrain, you need to know. And regarding this, what are the role of the cerebrum and hypothalamus, you also need to know what are the role of the thalamus too. Function of medulla, cerebrum and cerebellum. Cerebellum is the part of the hindbrain, where medulla is also part of the hindbrain, but cerebrum is the part of the forebrain, you need to know. Role of the cerebrum in maintaining the body balance is very important. Cardiovascular center regulation is responsible for the medulla. The movement, work, planning is all developed by the cerebrum, you need to know. The body temperature regulation, feeding, satiety, emotion, remembering, learning, short-term memory, long-term memory, all are related to the hypothalamus. Okay, anxiety, anger, or any kind of emotion is developed from the hypothalamus, you must need to know that. Okay. Voluntary and involuntary muscle, I already told you how voluntary or somatic nervous system work, what are the involuntary muscles, how autonomic nervous system work. Hand, legs, all muscles are voluntary muscle, you can control, but involuntary muscles are the gastrointestinal muscle, you cannot control the gastrointestinal muscles. Also you cannot stop your own heart because it is the involuntary muscle. Okay, you cannot stop your own gastrointestinal smooth muscle. Okay, you cannot control that are the involuntary muscle. They may also ask you what are the mixed conditioned muscles, such as voluntary, involuntary, partly voluntary, partly involuntary, that is the eyelid and the muscle related with the breathing. Up to a level we can control by the voluntarily, but it became involuntary. Okay, so mixed one is also important. As I told you, cerebrum and cerebellum function, this is a very important from the every respect. Nervous and muscular, second topic. Reflex action, spinal reflex, brain reflex, the lateral neural of the spinal cord related with the reflex action, withdrawal reflex. Okay, the reflex arc related with the motor neurons, motor unit, these are the important term. Now The simple basic structure function is the cell, that is the neural cells. How the neural cells is divided, how it is look like. So you must need to draw the diagram. What are the axon, what are the dendron, what are the dendritic spine, what are the axon spine, what are the neural cell body. You need to know that. Okay. Motor neurons, sensory neurons, lateral neurons or connective neurons, you need to know that. Which part of the reflex action take place decision spinal cord of brain, that is a lateral neuron. Must need to know that are present in the T1 to L2 or some kind, some people L3, T1 to L2 or L3. This is very important, you need to know. Lateral neural. Okay. Chemical signal converted into the electrical signal in neurons during the reception of any stimulus. When you are going to study about the motor unit and motor neurons and motor fibers, you will definitely answer such question. Chemical coordination in animal. When the term chemical came from, we must understand that is must be related with the endocrine system or hormone system, right? Okay. Now, hormone is a chemical messenger. Why hormone is a chemical messenger? What are the difference between the hormonal system and neural system? Both are responsible for the making coordination in body, but how they are differentiated in their action, it is very important. Endocrine secretion related with reproductive system. What are the role of the progesterone, estrogen, testosterone? What are the role of the prolactin, lactin? Important one. LH hormone, SFSH hormone related with the menstruation cycle, and also in the adolescence period hormone related with the reproductive system is very important. Characteristics of the endocrine gland, difference of the endocrine gland from the exocrine gland, very important. Goiter and feedback mechanism, these are the two important things. Feedback mechanism and goiter is a clinical condition, where feedback mechanism is all over a general conception. Feed forward mechanism is also important, but feedback mechanism is extremely important, right? Animal hormone, different type of animal hormones, their function, especially the role of insulin, glucagon, tropic hormones, thyroid hormone, very important, and reproductive hormones. Which gland in our body is called biological clock and why? It is very important. Our feedback mechanism explanation, important, regulation, okay, with example and diagram. Chemical coordination in plant, nastic movement, what is the plant hormone, and different type of plant movement such as geotropic movement, phototropic movement, sensory or touch movement, okay, thigmotropism we also called. These are the important movement of plant. And the hormones, that are the auxin, abscisic acid, gibberellin, cytokinin, brasinosteroid, it is very important for the plant. Okay. Now reproduction and its kind, such as in vivo or external reproduction, internal reproduction, self fertilization, cross fertilization, is very important. Asexual and sexual reproduction is also important, briefly. Reproductive system in humans, there are different reproductive system in humans, that are male and female reproductive system. Okay, role of the testes, role of the ovary, what are the fallopian tube, what is the testicular vesicle, what are the role of the different hormone in the reproductive system, is very, very important. Okay, sexual reproduction in plant is very important. Sexual reproduction is human. Why reproduction is necessary for any living organism is very important. Now, third chapter belongs to heredity and evolution. Okay, heredity and variance, that is the what is the trait, what is the character, trait or character, how many variants are present, and how the chart Mendelian genetics is very important. Evidence, evolution and evidence of the evolution is very important. What is the Lamarckism, what is the Darwinism, what is the Neo-Darwinism related with this, what is the your mutation, genetic drift, natural selection, how many type of genetic drift, that is the bottleneck effect and your founder effect. These are the very important. Evolution and its classification is very important. Mechanism of evolution is also important. Now ecosystem, nutrient and energy flow. This is the next chapter. Environmental problems is very important. Okay, such as your different type of pollution related question. They can provide you noise pollution or air pollution, or that are not so important, but somehow you have to remember a very little bit about the environmental problem, because this is a hot topic. They always ask you the question that are hot topics. Okay, hot topic means the topic are present in recent days, so it is very important.